So this might not be for all, right?
Yeah.
Some people, really don't have a choice. Yes?
Yeah, I agree in that, like, trying to get your vitamins through fruits is difficult where the climate is cold. And like you have to have the infrastructure available too, like the greenhouses and stuff, if you are going to possibly grow fruits.
I would think for me, and I speak from my own experience, like storing the fruits. Like you have to buy them and consume. So if you buy, and I have to say I'm used to, like, I come from a different country, and in my country people usually they do their groceries once a month. We had to change it here. Like if I want to consume local food, I cannot possibly buy tomatoes today and consume them, 3 weeks from now. I have to buy just the right amount so that I can consume them right away, and that might require more visits to the local market, to the local farm, whatever it is. So that's a challenge, especially considering our lifestyles these days. We barely have time to spend with our kids, but then we need to make time to visit the local. But you can make that a family event. I don't know, I'm just thinking. Yes?
I think one challenge as a teacher is, even if you inspire this kind of understanding and thinking in your students, you have to be able to reach their families to actually make tangible difference.
Excellent point. And how do you do that? Like as a teacher, how could you touch their families?
I think if you're motivated, if you're able to interest the students enough, they're gonna tell their parents about it, and they'll push your parents, and you could probably
And how can you get them to
activities, showing them movies, getting them to know the subject as much as possible. Like make them feel as if it's important.
And
show them.
Even asking them to discuss certain aspects of it at home with their families, or to go grocery shopping with their parents and see if they can identify the local foods that their parents are buying, even if they're not trying to change what they're buying, like just becoming aware.
I bet that if I ask my kids if they know where their food comes from, they wouldn't be able to tell me. Even the mango I had to check. I knew they were not from Canada. I knew the strawberries were not from Canada. But if you asked me when I was thinking about it, if you asked me where they come from, I certainly wouldn't be able to tell you. I was like, I need to check the stickers. I need to find out. I know they're not from Canada, but I had no idea either that the food was from so far away.
And most young kids think that their food comes from the store. They think they make it at the store.
Oh,
so they go there
yeah,
and eat it.
yeah.
So like the education really helps them to figure out, oh, this is grown somewhere else.
Yeah, but making them realize that their actions have an impact, that they are consuming foods that are from places that are far away. I think it's the first important thing to pay attention. Am I consuming? Do my parents know this stuff? And they will certainly raise awareness in their families. And you mentioned, kids thinking that the food comes from the supermarket. And I'm talking 10, maybe 12 years ago. I thought students in grade 8 who had never seen a chicken, they didn't know what a chicken was. They might have seen a chicken on TV. But can you imagine, like I would imagine people, at least in my generation, I think we all have seen a chicken, a live chicken. And not even cows. Some of them, all they know back then, and I'm talking 12 years ago, can you imagine now how much they have been exposed to all sorts of animals and plants? And then we could even talk about plant blindness, which is another topic that we don't give plants enough importance. The importance that they deserve. So yes, and I learned about the different types of mango when I was searching for information. So there's actually a website that shows you the types of mangoes that you can grow in Canada.
Where?
Well, you mean the website or the?
Where would they?
I think there's the website was talking about a place in Alberta, but you need a certain structure in place, like a greenhouse sort of thing, to grow those the trees.
Actually, it's very high temperature.
Yeah.
Like it grows in India, but that too in May, June, it ripens. You need like temperatures up to 35, 40 degrees. only then it is, you get good quality, and when it's not that hot, you don't get good quality.
But that would be another discussion, right? If you were to consume these Canadian mangoes, like what's the cost to keep the greenhouse going and to transport it from Alberta? So I think at the end of the day, there's no ideal solution, and you're not preaching that. You're not trying to convince people that there's only one way to consume food or to look at food, but you need to be aware of everything that is involved.
I agree with you on that, but I think if we just simply talk about it, often we just talk about it.
Oh,
and
yes.
Like you were saying before, a lot of people will have a discussion about it, but at the end of the day, what kind of actions are you concretely doing
Exactly. No.
to make a change?
Exactly.
And it's
Oh.
hard to go from just talking to actually doing something.
I totally agree. And what I meant by talking was, well, you can do so much. Even with a classroom, let's say you decide to go do a classroom project of some sort to raise awareness with the families or the community at large. At the end of the day, I mean, there will all be challenges will be in the way, but the important thing is that they have started acting, paying more attention, and maybe, who knows, your students will come up with better solutions that we just cannot think of right now. But I totally agree, just talking is not enough. I would certainly do a classroom project of some sort, get the parents. I think it's always important to get the parents involved. So this is a local resource. It's called Savor Ottawa, and I've shared this with my students as well. So if you go to the website, they'll probably be able to tell where to find local food, where to buy that food, and that's the resource I found on the bus coming to campus one day. They had an ad on the bus and said, well, you know where your food comes from, so check the website. I'm like, I don't know where my food comes from. So I would like to know more. And just in terms of financial, the economic aspect of it, it does cost more. But the thing is, if people who can afford that type of food, if they don't start consuming that kind of food, like the prices will never go down. So those who can afford, it would make sense that they do so that demand increases, and then maybe the prices, who knows, might go down. Yeah. So thank you. I just wanted to share, and yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the other argument that I've heard for justifying the cost is that it benefits your health, and obviously that's not, you can't say like, oh, it saved me $200 because I ate this bread instead of whatever. But just in terms of thinking long term and health costs and medical costs potentially in the future from, I don't know, whatever that you ate, whatever chemicals you're eating.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know. It's at least worth considering.
Well, I think so. And if the parents are convinced, they certainly want